we're all really excited for this April to do a Final Four where we can welcome all fans.
And so, I'd love to hear and share with our audience here on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show a little of your background, how you got here today, and maybe what's next.
Yeah. So I grew up in Cleveland, went to Butler University, which was right outside of Indianapolis. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I loved journalism and thought I might want to be on TV, working behind the scenes. So I did media production. So I was the camera girl for Butler basketball games, football games, and then I got a job at the Indianapolis Indians, which is our AAA team, doing the rooftop camera. So all the fly balls were caught on camera by yours truly. But it was a great entry point into learning more about the city. Kind of quickly decided I don't want to be behind a camera. I want to be with people. I want to be helping put on the event. So I did an internship with the Pacers in their group sales department. I worked for a radio station. So before Sports Corp, I worked for a weekly newspaper, so that will age me. And I was doing marketing and promotions, and really it was covering everything that was happening in the city. So I got to know Indianapolis a lot better that way. And while I was doing that, I started volunteering for Indiana Sports Corp. So started, saw how many volunteer opportunities they had for all the sporting events that they were hosting. And then in 2011, I actually moved into the head of marketing role at the Indianapolis Symphony. So I have a music background as well as a sports background. So, and really honestly wanted to challenge myself with marketing 200 concerts a year. They do 200 concerts, more than that probably a year, which is wild. And I wanted to see what it was like to help manage a nonprofit. I was really finding myself going towards community impact and organizations that really, were a part of the thread of a community. And while I was doing that, I was still volunteering for Sports Corp. So I volunteered for Final Fours and the Super Bowl that we hosted in 2012. And I really was just feeling this calling to do more for the Indianapolis community. And luckily, Sports Corp had a job open in April of 2019. So I was working on planning the 21 Final Four, and we were going to host regionals in 2020, and we were going to do all this Big Ten stuff in 2020, and then obviously we all know what happened in 2020. But probably the big turning point in my career was when we got the call to host all of March Madness in 2021, and I remember calling my parents and just telling them, hey, this is how I'm going to show up for the city, and I feel like this could be a big step in my career, but I'm going to have to give this everything I have. So I came into this office every day, Saturday, Sunday, every day, 14 hours a day probably, from the time that we got the whole tournament until we executed the tournament. And then a couple of months later, I got offered to be the event director on the Olympic swimming trials. So it does pay off. I mean, I think, you just making sure that when you do see opportunities, see them in their greatest context. I think it's a huge part of this world. Like when you get the opportunity to do something, figure out how you can show up in the best way possible. And I feel like everything's still an audition. I mean, so I really try to keep that in my head when I'm working on any kind of event. So the swim trials were probably one of the most challenging and most rewarding things I've done in my life, for sure. To be able to do something like that for the sport of swimming, which I grew up with. To be able to do something on the Olympic level. Like I was actually able to go to Paris, and I had my Indianapolis shirt on, and people stopped me from other countries to say, I saw the trials in Indianapolis and it was the best thing I've ever seen. Like to hear that was just unbelievable. So, so now I'm in kind of a more strategic role, thinking about what the future looks like for our city and state as far as sports. And we've got a great event lineup coming up. We have the men's Final Four in 3 months, which is crazy. And then we have the women's Final Four in 2028, another men's Final Four in 2029. And the Olympic swimming trials are coming back in 28 too. So it's going to be a pretty crazy few years coming up. And we're working on booking what's in the 2030s.
Incredible. I mean, you've had an amazing career
Thank you.
already. And I know there's so much more to come, but I have to ask you, you talked about 14-hour days, but like, what's a day in the life, of Sarah Myer or maybe going back to even the bubble, right? I mean, for the NCAA tournament, like,
Yeah.
what was that like?
It was wild. I think, I talked about flexibility, and I think that's a big part of this job. I mean, every day is different. Because you're working on events that are 3 months away and 3 years away, it's really about checking in with yourself every single day and what are my priorities. Let's be honest, I'm not going to get this done, but I can get these things done. I think like time management is so crucial, and it's really hard. There's now with Zoom and being able to have virtual meetings, like it can get very busy. So I think, being honest with yourself and building the right team about what your priorities should be and what you should be focused on. And I think that's a huge part of it. So yeah, I mean, my day today included talking to you. We have meetings about, like I said, the swim trials coming up in 2028. We talked to the NCAA this morning about Final Four stuff. And then, just working on other things like, some of the boring things like our, board management and things like that. But we are a nonprofit organization. So honestly, a big discussion we're having is just fundraising. And I had a call this morning just about other stadiums that are coming online and what that's looking like too, because the competition it's crazy. There's a lot of cities out there who are doing trying to do a lot of the things that we've done for a long time here in Indy. But it keeps us on our toes though. I mean, I think people are always like, oh, there's all these other cities, but it's a huge motivator for me. And I think like a lot of our staff is pretty competitive. So I think that helps a lot because it just keeps you going and keeps you focused on trying to just really go above and beyond.
Is there? You said it was being a swimmer. The Olympic trials were something that was really special. But is there an event that you just love to put on? Like, is there like that you're most excited about, or is it they're all just really special in different ways?
They're all special in different ways. I will say, I mean, the Olympic trials was amazing, but, March Madness in 2021, I remember walking outside. I knew that this would never happen again. So, well, hopefully. So I really wanted to be able to take it in and be present with it, at least a little bit within all of the chaos. And I remember walking downtown and I overheard this guy tell his friend, hey, I just realized that this is the first time I've felt normal in a really long time. And that just gave me chills now. But it's what's so great about sports. And how amazing that we had the privilege to be able to do that for people, to bring them hope, to make them feel normal again. And that was a huge moment for me. So I think we're all really excited for this April to do a Final Four where we can welcome all fans, so we can welcome everyone at full capacity and kind of celebrate and reflect on what we were able to do 5 years ago. So I think that's going to be really, really special.
That's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
In your role as chief of staff and strategy, I mean, big role.
Yeah.
But you have a team, right?
Yeah.
Of people that you work with. I mean, talk a little bit about what it's, some of the people on your team and the things that they do, and how it's not just this is the Sarah show, right? I mean,
Yeah, it is not the Sarah show. Yeah, so we every sports commission is different, but I think we we operate a lot of our events with just our staff. Sometimes there's other sports commissions that hire people for the different events, just depending on what they have. But we're a nonprofit, so we have a fundraising department, so we couldn't do any of this without our everyone that works on fundraising for us. And not a lot of people know this, but when you bid on an event and you win it, there's typically a bid fee. So that's what we're fundraising for, is typically these bid fees and the fees that are associated with hosting an event. So that's a huge part of it. Again, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have those folks. We have an entire events team, so they're really working on logistics, anything from transportation to venue operations to volunteers. I mean, there's so much that goes into operating the event, so we're always a support system for our folks like the NCAA or the Big Ten, really supporting them on that side. And then our marketing, comms, and engagement team is phenomenal. They're constantly helping our partners sell tickets or, sell suites, get the word out about the event. A lot of our partners, we're lucky because they have events where they sell out the tickets, but then they really want everyone coming to their sponsored events, and that's where our marketing team helps out a ton too. So, and then on any event that Indianapolis hosts, we're always looking to figure out how can we have more impact beyond the event. It's great that we have these competitions, but we want to make sure, one, that they can be accessible to people who might not otherwise be able to go, and that the sport is accessible to people. So we have an entire engagement team that is constantly working on that as well. So good example is for the Olympic swimming trials, we wanted to push swimming, obviously, because it is the only sport that can save your life. Which when USA Swimming said that to us, I was like, that's interesting, but it's true. And drowning is still the second leading cause of death for kids 14 and under. So it's still a huge problem. So we made this crazy goal of teaching 50,000 Hoosiers to be swimmer water safe by the end of 2024, and we did it. And we wouldn't be able to do it without that part of the team too. So I think those kinds of projects are incredibly important to what we do. So that's, and then, we have like the finance people that keep us in check, and all those because there's a lot of administrative stuff too. If you run an event, but so yeah, it's a team of 35, and then we are really lucky to have a lot of people in the community who volunteer their time, whether on larger committees that we create to help us plan the event or just day of volunteers. So it's pretty crazy to see how Indianapolis shows up for these events.